We had 42 calls last month. Good start to the year. Sorry about the way it looks. The report writer for the state system is down, and it's been fun learning the new system. We switched from nippers to nears, so it's been quite exciting. I do have one purchase order to go over from Hoosier Fire Equipment. So our jaws that we currently have are battery operated, and Milwaukee's doing away with the M28 version. So they're like really getting really thin on the batteries. So to switch it to an M18 battery, it's $4,860. And that
It just
comes
converts
with
the old tools or the current tools to
M18 platform.
M18.
And it comes with 4 brand new batteries, the red lithium. They said they'll completely redo the tools, put new valves in it, go through it, so it's gonna be basically a brand new tool and we're done.
You do it at the station or do you send them?
They'll do it right here at the station.
Purchase order for $4,860 for
Who's it for, sorry?
Hoosier Fire Equipment, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion for $4,860 for Hoosier Fire Equipment.
I'll second that.
Sure.
I thank you. And then a quick update on the ladder truck. I talked to him last week. He said it should be completely done this week. Fingers crossed. So I don't have an update on the pricing of the graphics. I was gonna get with him yesterday, but I was fired. And took that away. And then other than that, I'd like to get Command 10 up the bills for service and get some work done on it.
The ladder truck, will you let me know when you
Yes,
have a delivery date, please?
I will definitely let you know.
Anything else for the fire department?
I don't have anything.
Police department.
Got purchase orders. So the first one is repairing the Dodge. I think Scott talked to you guys about the damage. That's what Brian's auto gave us. That's where it's sitting right now.
Which, I'm sorry, refresh my memory.
That one hit your beer.
No, well, yeah, but
And then after that?
but different incident. Yeah, he put it in, stuffed in the ditch out on H.L. Thompson.
Purchase,
How do you put a vehicle in the ditch on H.L.
It was drifting pretty bad out there the last few snowstorms, but.
And yeah, you have to ask him.
so as I understand it, the damage was not necessarily from ditching, it was from trying to
The
recover
damage
it,
was
right?
not from putting it in the ditch, it was from trying to be pulled out of the ditch.
That's why we call tow truck.
Eventually he did.
And will insurance cover anything?
No,
Okay. I didn't get your stuff.
collision related.
Right.
So who tried pulling him out?
Dave is gonna raise his hand, cause I know this.
You got insurance?
It was a fire department truck.
Yeah.
He called me and it didn't look too bad, so I tried to hook onto him, but he was in there deeper than it actually was.
I don't know how far out he was, but
I don't know where.
was he far out?
He was down there quite a bit.
The only thing I don't understand is, cause you called me and said that it damaged the push bar, you were to call a wrecker, and then sounds like after that, we decided to.
Well, I didn't know underneath at first, cause it was still buried in the snow.
This
I
is
knew
not
the
for the push bumper, we're not getting that fixed, that's just gonna come off, it's just for that rear,
Rear suspension that was damaged after that, so,
right after the push bumper.
I mean,
So I didn't know that was damaged, cause it was still sitting in the snow.
I would, I think we have to fix it, but I think we have to make sure we're calling.
Tow truck.
Yeah, I'm not
Call a tow truck, cause they have freaking insurance.
gonna do it.
So, Brian's Automotive for $1,109.97.
Make a motion for Brian's Automotive for $1,109.97.
I guess I'll second
officer.
These next two are, for the new car, this one's that total price it paid, all at once, and the second one's just what the total would be with those three individually, so 20 or whatever.
The in full, like the 63.
63,606, 69,460 if it's on the lease, which is what we. So, here's where I'm at with this, and I know I'd asked last meeting, but, so I noticed that the Lloyd Public Safety Fund, over the course of 2025, gained $53,040 in addition to all of the disbursements for that year. So that was my question. So that fund is gaining money every month, gaining money yearly, with a current balance per tonight's report of $150,312 and some change. So my question is, can we do an additional appropriation and take a portion of this police car from this fund and pay for a car? Now, what I would like to see is there were some equipment funds from last year that we were told that could be applied toward this. Is that correct?
That is. It's on the top page.
But there are some funds, correct?
Should be what, approximately 15 grand.
Yeah, that's what he saved from last year. So I know at the last meeting, Micah, he said he didn't want to use that.
Right. We were told at the December meeting that if you did not spend that, we could apply that towards this car.
We
Right.
can reappropriate it.
Right.
Right.
And
Which, yeah, that was the 26,000.
No, the 26 is the police donation funds. There was
That
equipment
was it.
funds that they did not spend intentionally to apply toward this car. And we were told
yeah, it was
that,
roughly like 15 or so.
Cause we took it, that
12,
was
15,
roughly
something.
some part-time that we did.
no.
No,
I
had
mean,
to
it's
do
not
with
even
salary.
part-time.
This-
Oh,
this-
okay.
this is
This
Okay.
is their equipment fund.
This is
Oh,
just
Just from the budget last year that we didn't
Scott,
spend.
in December, Scott said, can I use it for the car or do I need to
There.
spend it? And it was
We
very
felt
clearly
we were
stated,
told that
Right.
we could, the attorney told us that we could reappropriate it.
reappropriate that money. That is correct. So I need to know what that money is.
That one is 15,875.
75. So then, my thought process here is that we leave 2026 equipment money alone so they can actually buy some equipment for their department. I was hoping we could take half of the police donation funds, so that doesn't strip that fund completely, which would be, say, 13,000. Let's just round 13,000. This is just me talking out loud. So that's $28,875 coming off of $63,609. So we're roughly $35,000, if I'm doing my math right, doing it in my head, that I'm asking, can we do an additional appropriation from the Lloyd money and pay the balance of this car.
And we'll get more money in that fund in June, correct?
Well,
I don't know,
We don't know yet, but
No.
possibly.
so here's what I need an answer for. At some point, if it can't be tonight, then I gotta have an answer, because when this is unappropriated money, there are some appropriations for that fund, I understand that, and I asked for those,
and I've been doing.
and I understand, but, without knowing those amounts, it's making it very difficult for the council to make decisions.
I
But
understand.
what I
What I'm
do
trying to say-
understand from the reports we were receiving is that fund gained $53,000 last year that was not appropriated, was not, in addition, so in the total, the report ending in 12/31/25, that fund had a total year-to-date disbursement of $106,496, with $159,537 in revenue, and a beginning balance of $94,000 at the beginning of the year. So, I understand there's appropriations coming from that fund, but what I'm saying is that there's money there that we could tap into. So unless that money's appropriated for something else or being earmarked for something else, and that's what I'm trying to find out.
And that, alright, you're talking about police equipment, okay? They got two different ones. They got the police equipment in general fund. They have the police equipment in, where's that now? They have police equipment in, when you're talking about the 15,000, alright, they got one of the 4,600, which is totally different fund, so they got two different ones. They got one that's 15,000 that was appropriated, and then they got the general, which is 17,000 that they still have for their police equipment.
But I think that's appropriated.
That's
for this
appropriated
year.
for 2026.
Yes, we don't wanna touch.
We're not touching that.
This department has got to be able to buy some equipment for our officers. We're gonna have some very serious, like, you can't expect them to function year after year after year without equipment. And that's why I'm saying is, can
As soon as
Lloyd,
Doug gets
public
here,
safety money-
If he says it's okay, then we'll do it.
I'm sorry, who says?
Done. Because State Board of Accounts is,
So my question is State Board of Accounts saying?
What is State Board of Accounts saying about it?
Yes,
it has to be appropriated
okay.
We can do that. That's what we're here for.
No, no,
We're
no,
the
no.
council.
to do the budget for next year, to have it
That-
put in with next year's budget.
I understand that,
So that's
to
what
pay
they
for
were,
it for next year, that is correct, but we have the authority to do additional appropriations in addition to our 2026 budget to cover expenses that are not currently in the budget, if we have the funds available.
correct, and then it has to go through, State Board of Accounts, then it's gotta go
Correct.
through Gateway, and then they either approve it or deny it.
That's what I'm asking, is
So
can the
that's
Lloyd
where
Public
I'm
Safety
trying to
money
get at. I
be
was-
used for a police car if we did an additional appropriation? That's the question that I'm asking. Okay. It's the same question I asked last meeting, so.
And
I-
I've given you everything I have, what I've talked to State Board of Accounts, what I've talked to Kelly's, and they said if the best bet would be doing it, appropriating it for next year's budget, and I said, I can't do that. I can't do that. I have to know now. I asked that same question.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So, when we look at that $53,000 that we gained, was there anything earmarked for that money when we did the budget cycle?
Yeah, it goes for wages, it goes for the firemen, it goes for the insurance, it goes for,
In addition to,
that's all out of the low end.
So like, Michael, are you trying to figure out how much is left that's not
It's not.
That's
yes,
not
yes,
being
it's not
right.
being
Right.
That total, cause you're looking for 28 grand
Right.
instead.
35.
35.
Okay. I
So,
don't remember what you guys
35,
said.
I mean,
But-
I
But
don't,
what I'm saying is that if the trend continues with what we're currently taking from that money, and that we gain another 53,000 in 2026, then you're telling me we're gaining $100,000 in that fund that we have no intention of spending, right? So that's the question. Those are funds that when we determine that something needs to be purchased and we don't have the money in the budget,
Right.
it should have been in the 2026 budget. It was missed. It just, I mean, I thought we were planning to put a police car, we've been talking about this for 3 years. So, or 2 years, I'm sorry, I've been on the council 2 years, we've been talking about it. So I was hoping that we were gonna have money earmarked in the 2026 budget, and I missed it. Shame on me.
So we just need to know how much is not earmarked or already appropriated for something.
So now, if we can't do that, then we have enough money with the 15,875 you saved from last year, and if we took half of your or even a portion of your donation, not even half, to do a lease, then we could do the 3-year lease and still get you a car. But what I'm trying to say is if we can save $6,000 because we have that money sitting in a fund that we're just not
Yeah,
using,
we're on the same page with that.
then
Makes more sense.
then we need to do that and save $6,000. That's $6,000 worth of something else that we can spend.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to get. I mean, we could easily today say, hey, let's do the lease and let's go. But I mean,
Peggy, when I talked to you
it's-
earlier, I know we talked about, you said that 100%, like 10,000 coming out of the load fund was fine.
yes,
So my assumption is that reappropriation is A-okay, so.
right. But it's just a matter of trying to get everything, cause I was gonna take all of the donation, but still let them still have their equipment fund.
Right.
So that's what I was gonna do.
How much is scheduled to come out of load this year? Cause if you're comfortable with taking 10, like, and knowing,
It's another.
knowing the
it's another-
remainder of what's left and not going somewhere else. I think if we just know that number, then it makes everything easier, than just the whole discussion.
if taking 35 from the Lloyd as opposed to 10 was going to put us in a pinch for another appropriation that we don't have that information for, but if it exists, then we could adjust the donation fund, right? We could take a little bit more from the donation fund and get closer to that. I just thought, hey, if you guys have that, you guys haven't bought equipment in
Yeah.
years.
Most of the equipment we need right now is training stuff. I mean, every time we do something, we gotta beg, borrow, and steal other people to, hey, can we use this,
So-
hey, can we use that, and I mean, that's just embarrassing.
I feel like leaving some of that donation funds there is a good rainy day fund. When, like you said, you need training or you need this or this pops up. And maybe it doesn't fall into the equipment fund, the equipment category. We would potentially use that. That's why I'm just thinking we shouldn't strip. So, like I prefaced when you walked in, I have a feeling that we need to
Yeah,
continue this
that's fine.
conversation in the next meeting with
Other
Don.
boss said that's fine
And-
if I stick around.
Okay. I think guys, I mean, I've done all the talking, but
You're fine.
Would
Right,
you-
You're on ball, you're right
Yeah.
where we need to be.
I mean, if we need to, if the answer is no, and we need to just proceed with the lease, then let's proceed with the lease and get a freaking car over. But if we have this money sitting here that it's just not, that we're not using, we need to spend it. We need to use it and save ourselves $6,000.
Mike, do we have a year over year on what we always get out of that low that's
Well-
close? Because you said, what, 150,000 we got in there now?
That is correct.
Yes.
So if we take, what have we been paying out of the salary?
The
and all
disbursements,
the difference on
and
that,
I said that,
the car.
the disbursements year to date for last year was $106,000 with $159,000 of revenue.
So, okay, so last year out, that's 100. So I'm assuming this year is going to be approximately the same.
It's gonna be very close because insurance went up.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, you know, there may be some adjustments to that, but if we gained 53 last year, will we gain a significant portion again this year? And we're definitely not gonna spend 53,000 more than what we,
And then,
that's where I'm at.
It's just like what you said, that comes in June, we should, you're dead on point, that ought to work.
and then we wouldn't even have to take payment until we get the car, which they said is 9 months after ordering.
Right.
So say we do come in short in June, after you already approved the purchase, then okay, well, I guess let's try to find out, before that car gets here in the next 6 months, where we can move.
So we
10,000.
could
Right.
get a loan through the bank, cause it would be cheaper in interest.
Well, not from what I see in the paperwork here, if it goes 60 months is what's on here, which I, God, we can't go 60 months on a car.
I was thinking like
Oh.
a year, because that's really, we only needed that buffer.
But,
Right.
but if we don't have to pay for this car until we take delivery, which we already know is 7 or 8 months, my question is, can this process play out? The additional appropriations, all of the stuff that we need to do, play out, so that when we're talking about now, already October, probably before we
At
see a
the
police
earliest,
car,
yeah.
at the earliest,
Which I would know exactly what I get in June.
and we could tweak those numbers a little bit, if we gotta tweak some stuff, I'm fine with that, I'm not saying that,
Right.
but I really think a significant portion of it needs to come from that way. That's just my guitar.
That is called your public safety fund, isn't it?
It
Yeah,
is, it is.
right, that's what it's for. And it's not like it would be, that much again next year,
Mhm.
just this year.
Mhm.
And then build
That is
some
correct.
back up next year.
That is
Build some
correct.
Back up the year after that.
That is correct, and
Listen, when I hit it here, insurance gave me $12,000.
So, all right, let's not get off topic. So I think we need to continue this into the next meeting with Don, and we need to try to find out whether we're looking at the right direction, or whether we just need to approve the lease payment, and, because we know we have the money for that.
Right.
Now, we know that, we know we have the money for that this year, but we're gonna have to make sure that we would have that for the next 2 years as well.
Right.
Which is fine, we can
appropriate the other.
appropriate that money and sort that out.
Right, cause
but-
the first payment, Mike, am I wrong?
But if we can save $6,000,
Right, exactly, but
then
that's
let's
why,
do it, let's just,
that's why I was
brakes
talking
on
to
here.
them.
Okay.
Hey, Micah,
Yes.
Michael, Scarcity Bank. I was talking with Vicky a little bit. So if we did the loan for a year, it would be about $1,500 in interest until you appropriate it. If you didn't need to borrow those funds until October, you'd only have 90 days worth of interest. So we would only charge you 90 days worth of interest, would be about $200 to $300. So the bank would be willing to step up and do any deficiency if you needed to.
Okay. And being we don't have to pay for the car until we take delivery with a 7 or 8 month delivery lead time, we're kind of already getting very close to that, so. Welcome, Don. I'm gonna throw you into this if you don't mind.
Take a breather.
That's my job.
That's my job.
Okay, the conversation is about the purchase of a police car. So we do not have money appropriated for 2025, or 6, I'm sorry, to purchase the car. My question, after looking at the Lloyd Public Safety Fund, there was a net gain for 2025 of 53,000 and some change. So what I'm asking is, can we take a portion of money from there for this car and do a
Sorry,
reappropriation? And we won't need funds until we take delivery, which is probably at this point gonna be October. So it gives us time to work through that process. So can we approve a purchase order?
You can appropriate the money, assuming it's not committed elsewhere. And you have to advertise and do an additional appropriation, sure. If you sign the purchase order, you're committing yourself to appropriating the funds. Though in Indiana, there's some case law that suggests that you don't actually appropriate them, there is no contract, but, obviously, from what, I wasn't here for the first part, but from what I've gathered, everybody wants to purchase this police car, am I right?
Correct.
Yes. Okay, so, yeah, you can appropriate the money that's there for the purchase of a police car.
If it happens to not be there in October, is there anything that is stopping us from then getting a loan to cover those funds?
Well, unless it's a loan from other funds that you control, that you're, okay.
So,
You have a rainy day fund?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do, and I didn't know if we could use that.
Well, you can't use it for, I mean, the public safety fund should be used first. But if for some reason those funds were not available, or you had to spend them on something else, an emergency,
There's the 42,000,
then you could use the rainy day fund, or
which would be additional appropriation.
you'd have to do an additional appropriation for that.
for that as well. So either way, we need to do an additional appropriation. Either way, we have 7 or 8 months to get it sorted out before they need payment. But obviously, we don't start that 7 or 8 month timeline until we sign the purchase order.
Correct. I assume that's the case.
And we could easily cover a lease payment, but it adds $6,000 to the cost of the car over 3 years, so. I'm just saying, man, it looks like we have some surplus funds in that's building, let's take it, and.
Well, it's there for a purpose, and that's one of the purposes of it.
So the rainy day, or
No, the safety,
The Lloyd Public Safety is where it needs to
come
come
up
from.
short, you can use the rainy day fund to
Yes,
cover your
correct.
short.
you try to avoid using a rainy day fund unless you have absolutely no choice otherwise, so.
It's not raining out today. It's just-
Okay.
It's not raining out today, it's just cold.
It's warm today.
So, we will also need, correct me if I'm wrong, we're also gonna need to do an additional appropriation for the $15,875 that was remaining from last year that carried over, because that is also not appropriated, am I correct?
correct. You are
So
correct.
we technically are gonna have to do 2 additional appropriations for this purchase.
Well, is it all in the public safety fund?
No,
No, one's your,
One is
was from
general.
last year.
Okay, well then, if it's not the public safety fund, you do 2 appropriations, yeah. Depending on the number of the funds, you may be able to do a transfer. As opposed to,
The equipment fund is 15,875, and then coming out of the low, it would be roughly 35,000.
I mean, the numbers of the accounts.
Oh, gotcha.
You can do a transfers without an appropriation.
If they're the same basic fund,
Mm.
not like.
I'd have to look at the numbers. Probably not. Your budget is too limited to have, you know. Probably not. So you probably should do 2 appropriations.
was it this one? Because this is what we were talking about.
Okay, you have,
The Lloyd Public Safety is right there. That's all right.
public safety. You have 151,214.39. You spent 901.85. I assume that,
That's part of payroll too. So payroll, the firemen, the insurance, what else comes out of that?
Don, this was last year's, this is end of year, right? So this is what I was trying to pull from. So at the beginning of the year, there was 94 at 2025. Revenue was 159, disbursements was 106, for a net gain of, where I'm seeing that 53,000 of a net gain in disbursements versus, in revenue versus disbursements for last year, which left us at 147.83.
okay, but you're getting new.
Right, so we'll also,
In the middle of the year, you'll get another disbursement from Lowit fund, so,
That's correct.
okay.
I just don't know how much,
Yeah, so you should be okay. Should be okay.
so.
Well, you need, if you can take it all out of this, take it all out of this.
But then I have to still have to do an additional appropriation.
Honey, you gotta do an additional appropriation for everything we do.
I
Yeah,
And
understand that,
that's part of the job.
but no, okay.
So I think they're saying take it out of the Lowit fund.
Yeah,
And I'm okay
We
with
were,
that.
we were gonna split it up. We were gonna take a
yeah,
little bit
we're
of
gonna
the
take
police
out of that,
donation
we're gonna
fund.
take out their,
Okay, the police donation fund, you can
I
figure
get
it out.
it, that's what I was just asking, to put it all, take it all out of there, and then I'll just do additional appropriations out of the other two to compensate.
and that'll cover it, we'll be rocking it.
Does anybody have this view?
I have this bill in front of me. Statewide emergency products, Ford Explorer police vehicle, $63,609.
I make a motion for statewide emergency products for $63,609.
I second that.
Don, should we amend the motion to include the thought process of how this is being, we're kind of splitting this over three different, or does that not matter? We just,
I like to see, for the clerk's benefit, what fund, you're talking about what funds you're taking them out of, she needs to know
Yep.
how much you want out of each fund.
I can put that in the motion.
yes.
Um,
So this is, so there's your, equipment.
Okay.
There's your donation, and then the balance will come out of Lloyd.
I make a motion for statewide emergency projects for $63,609 with $15,875 coming out of the 2025 equipment fund, $13,000 coming out of the police donation fund, and,
Balance from Lloyd, just the balance, because I don't have the exact figure.
okay, and then the rest of the balance from the load fund, public safety fund.
I second that.
And I will concur. We can do all the math and we'll note it on here, so it's on the purchase order.
I guess you could just shred that other one then. You got at
Pull that
least
out,
one
throw
up
it in the
there.
grant.
They don't get mixed up.
So that's $34,734 from the Lloyd Public Safety Fund.
There is one more thing.
Okay.
Holden applied in Hamilton.
Okay.
So we'll see if he is hired or not.
Okay. Fair enough.
Thanks for letting us know.
One more.
Holden applied over Hamilton. Okay.
That's all.
Anything else
Thank
for the
you.
police department?
I don't have anything.
Alright, moving on. I got all my papers messed up. Buildings and Parks Department.
Parks are not much going on right now. Buildings, we have, ICS come look at our SCADA system for the heating and cooling. It's all outdated and they're looking at updating it. And they'll give us a price on it, but they just looked at this, I don't have numbers yet. I'll have that next meeting.
That's one of those things we can do kind of in modules, we do so much, but it's getting to the point where we're talking 2-3 weeks out for parts if something goes down, so.
Well, some of it's obsolete, they don't have.
Yeah, they don't even have parts, you have to update it again.
Other than that, been plowing snow.
I'm hoping that we're on up and out with the
If
snow.
we have more days like today,
Yeah, that's why we don't have a board report for you guys tonight, I can email you one tomorrow, but we've run me.
so that's okay. If we have more weather like today, you'd be back on picking up leaves.
Yeah, finish up our fall work.
Figure out where they're at.
Right. All right.
In the street department, I got a quote from Clear Lake Electric. About every year we gotta replace each lamp uptown. I looked at getting LEDs. The ones we're looking at are 5-year manufacturer warranty, 70% energy reduction, and we change all 24 of them, so it's 2 per light. Would be $4,655.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad. I make a motion for $4,655 to Clear Lake Electric.
I'll second that.
And that'll come out of street department.
I'll concur.
And just to let you guys know, Dave's been working at replacing the 2004 red Chevy pickup. Just building it online, which is retail, it's like $54,000. We've had about another $8,000 involved, but I'll pay for the equipment out of our street equipment money, and maybe pay for the truck out of water. I gotta get a bid and then work up some numbers. But it's 22 years old and it's starting to hurt pretty bad. So, in the wastewater, I got a PO, might have to order some more lab chemicals and stuff for $1,118.18.
I make a motion for $1,118.19. USA Blue Book.
We've got the school lift station repaired. I haven't got a bill for that yet, but it's actually up and running. American Pumps going to come in and fix the WAS line. He didn't give you a date today, did he?
No, they're gonna get back, depending on, it's weather dependent.
Yeah, we have to bring a back truck and stuff in cold weather to be able to do that. And then, we had a meeting with DLZ, the sewer plant's tentatively scheduled to start in April, as long as the weather cooperates. And we've got, Dominic coming in to lift that decanter out and repair that, but again, it's weather dependent, because we gotta get a crane, we gotta pump the tank down, and we don't really wanna do it when it's 10 degrees out, so.
I hope we're done with the 10 degrees.
Yeah.
-25.
But other than that, we've been plowing snow and fixing water mains. And kudos to Kevin and Alex. He's on year 2, Alex is on year 1. And they've really stepped up for a bad year for water main breaks.
Kudos, boys. Been there, done that.
Yep, no, definitely. Thank you.
Been in a hole with nip.
Yeah.
And they're finding leaks at places, so I'm just letting them know,
Yeah.
so we don't have a huge water bill.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Was that a toilet? Was that?
Yep, it was. I fixed it all by myself.
You didn't even have to call your husband.
Oh, no, I did, but.
The only thing I have, and I know you guys have been busy, but there was a couple of flags that were still on the light poles that were pretty tattered.
Raggedy.
Yeah.
Can we get those down, please?
Yeah, I wanna get the snow moved out up there from those piles. We haven't got to that yet. So we'll get snow moved out, and then we'll get in there with the Bobcat and get those down.
As soon as it's feasibly possible, we can get those at least taken
Next
down.
week, Jimmy will be gone.
Yeah, so
I'm hoping.
I just, that's all I have.
Yeah.
So I totally get it, you guys have been busy, but. Utilities?
We pumped 5,870,000 gallons. Water daily average is 207. I imagine that number's a little higher from all the water leaks we got, it's a little higher than normal, but. And then we got the list of our main breaks there. We did lose, communication with our tower. Had to have Peerless come in, I couldn't figure it out, and they got the antenna back up and working. Basically, it was a loose screw, so whatever that was. And we submitted, the DNR annual water reports and turned in for the year, so, for last year. Filed some snow too.
All the things.
And you didn't get stuck like,
The county did get stuck.
yeah, out there on Angle, they got too far over.
Oh.
State got one stuck here just a mile south of here.
Yeah.
Going southbound, they dropped
Oh,
off.
they had one on the ramp too.
That was on 69, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, on 69, I mean, they were like way off into the, yeah.
They had one get stuck on the ramp too.
Alright, anything else you, utility? Anything for the clerk? Okay, we'll adjourn the department head meeting, we'll take a couple minutes and let's just reconvene at 7 for the regular town council meeting.
Good job, Tom Snow,
Hey, I was always told by Jeff, if you're not pushing dirt,
Alright.
you're not on the
Yeah, we went trying to get it back, but it's getting so deep, you can't get it back anymore. Oh, I know. Matt.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes to be approved as distributed.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as distributed.
I second that.
I will concur. Approval of financial and bank reconciliation reports.
Okay, I make a motion for the approval of the financial and bank reconciliation reports.
I'll second that.
I will concur. Approval of accounts payable register. Motion for the accounts
Make a
payable.
motion for the approval of the accounts payable register.
I'll second that.
I will concur. Ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 2026-1, ordinance by town of Ashley vacating public right of way.
Consider.
Ordinance 2026-1, vacate a public way, alley between lots 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and subdivision lots numbered 6, 7, 8, block 14.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-1, ordinance of the town of Ashley vacated public right of way.
And I will second that.
Two you can sign. And, I can just take it with me. You have to sign it too.
Could you email me a copy of the recorded one, please, if possible? The survey people need it. They've just been waiting on me, so.
Oh. You want to sign the second copy too, why?
Well, I just don't let you do it. I hand it back to you, let you sign it, and I'll sign it.
And this date is still January, so it's that.
Yeah, I'll change it.
Okay.
That's just an extra copy, but
Okay. Take care of it. All black.
Won't let. Make me see.
The old business, I'm assuming we've got that
That's done.
hashed out. New business, discussion on housing in Ashley. Mike Tullis.
Okay, if I come up?
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Okay. So I hate talking about spending money after the last conversation.
Little gun shy.
Yeah, well, this will cost you a little bit of money now, but it will possibly, it should gain a lot of money in the future. So if you look at your zoning map, this parcel is the one owned currently by Rocky Squire. I've approached him and he is willing to sell the parcel to be developed. He does not want to develop it himself. And so what we've done in Garrett before is we've kind of found a developer, found builders, and kind of put the project together. And this is just a hand-drawn layout based off, I think it's 85 feet by 135 feet. So average size lot, they're kind of on the smaller size. For the first development, you would want to scrunch out as many as you could to get the most bang for the buck. The parcel right here, legally talking with your department heads, water and sewer is down at the church.
Mm-hmm.
And then water and sewer would need to be ran up to this parcel. So
Don't we have water and sewer clear to the corner here? Hydrant there.
It's close to the corner, but not all the way.
Okay.
You from Thompson Drive, Micah? We got it out to Thompson Drive.
Yeah, it's up to Thompson and Farrington Drive.
Farrington and.
Farrington
yeah, Farrington.
and, or Gonzer.
Got it.
So basically, it would need to be ran from here up to the parcel. Also probably need to do a lift station. Lift stations are anywhere from 150,000 to 250,000, depending on the size. Not saying that you guys should do all of that, but just want to have a discussion. If we're going to talk to a developer to give them some type of incentive. A couple different other options are the City of Butler has done a tax abatement for new housing, where the first year it is 100% tax abatement. The second year is a 66% tax abatement, and the third year is a 33% tax abatement, then it goes on to the rolls at 100%. Not saying you need to do that, just trying to give you some options. I'm trying to incentivize some housing development. I know this is one of the things that the bank feels that it's important for your community and our community to move forward with. And I know the county needs housing also. Not asking you to spend any money today, just to kind of get it on your radar, probably for next year. And there are some reimbursable costs. Your attorney can probably give you that better than I can. Once the builder or developer has an occupancy, certain funds are required to be paid back for some of those improvements for the water and sewer. But just asking if that's something that you want me to pursue, to try and find a developer to get some housing in the area, and then we'd be willing to take on that task and kind of move forward. And if this is not the parcel that you want, the bank would be willing to approach somebody else in the generalized area to do that.
So based on this lot size, what are we looking as far as square footage of, do we know that yet? I mean,
Based on the subdevelopment we did in Garrett, 1,400 to 2,000 square feet,
okay,
depending on the size.
Decent size there.
Decent size. There's no such thing as affordable housing these days, so you're probably looking at lot prices 50 to 65, depending on how much you guys are able to kick in. And the cost of a house and lot is probably $300,000. So nothing affordable, but it's not a $100,000 house, which is, if you do a $300,000 house, that means your tax revenue, your water you're gonna be utilizing, your sewer you're gonna be utilizing. They won't be utilizing electric, but because that you guys don't own that.
I haven't looked at the statute recently. There was also a residential tip where you could potentially borrow the money to put in some of the improvements. And then the tax revenue from the development would go to pay off that.
Okay.
It's, I haven't looked at it recently, I'm in the middle of a TIF for an industrial area in Butler, Buster, 20-some acres, but, which is much more clear, but it's been a while since I looked at it, but there is a residential TIF, I believe. Correct.
And then John, Mike, and Mike's on the Cal board with me, economic, but it's kind of thing, we had a governance thing, it's too bad, so I was kind of glad he brought that in. Tulsa used a 0.5% sales tax. They added on and moved it into economic development to try to lure more businesses and homes and stuff like that to help pay for infrastructure. I don't know if we sell enough stuff in town.
Yeah, you guys actually have the harder part figured out, industrial. So I think the housing is the thing, and
Housing is what's killing us.
right.
Oh, to me, especially with our, we just worked through the sewer plant project, and that's how we get those rates down. That's how we stop raising the rates.
Correct.
Is putting
Gotta
more
get more
houses on, so you have more revenue coming in.
Correct.
To help disperse those expenses. So,
This is what surprised me in Butler. They said, well, that people don't want to live in Butler. That's what a lot of people say. But they build new houses in the 275, 325 range. They were snapped up just like that.
Yeah.
Butler's in the process of doing a residential infill lot abatement currently. And they did just sell some of the abandoned lots to some local developers that would help set them up with. But
See, this is all prime real estate too out there.
yeah. I mean, it might be way too early depending on the developer, but we're probably looking at slab homes, or are we looking at crawls or basement potentials? Or?
probably slab for economical. You might have some basements. It just kind of depends on the ground.
That matters.
Yeah.
I'm 100%. If we feel like we can get the utilities there, I am 100% on board with.
Could we potentially, I mean, I feel like we apply for grants for roadways all the time and get some,
So
I would assume,
I'm sorry.
either coming from, I guess, well, we don't have this, or we won't have this over here, but multiple different entryways from Angle Drive. And we can utilize, hopefully, some of that awarded grant money to get some roads in there.
You can come straight off of Union.
Well, the developer usually
Yeah,
puts
the
in,
developer put in the roads and.
Oh, they will?
Yeah.
Oh, even better.
they just need utilities, sewer and water.
Right.
So, and just to the edge of the property line, or are
Yeah.
we talking, we're putting all the,
No, we
put
just
it-
basically go to the property line. They then have to come from the structure to the line.
But there also is, I believe now, don't correct me, there is a reimbursement rate as a percentage of those water and sewer improvements, because they won't own those. You guys will own
Right.
those when they deed it over to
So
them.
that if somebody to tap into that new line,
Right.
there has to be a reimbursement. to-
Okay.
There could be if the developer put the whole thing in, there'd be there's a provision for reimbursement to the developer, but, if the town puts it in, or part of it in, it'd be reimbursement to the town.
And we work with, so the last one I'm using here was API. They can get that on the streets or on spot. I work with Pyramid Excavating, and they kind of did a rough estimate, and he's already agreed to kind of give me a rough estimate on development plan, so I can take numbers to some developers to kind of present it to them.
Yeah, what would be helpful, maybe it's a little preliminary for this, but just an engineer's estimate of the cost of extending the water and sewer. We could get that, if we know kind of where we stood. Or you would know where you stand, not my decision, but.
And this is
Like-
what I wanted from day one.
I was
so.
saying, I'm on board.
I'm 100% on board, and with all the options, it sounds like we potentially could have TIF, or whatever to help get some of that infrastructure in. I'm 100%. as long as it's financially feasible for the town, you know, that's the big if, right? But, I would say I would pull all the stops and do everything it takes to get some housing built in this town.
Okay.
So,
Well, I'll continue to move forward with it, kind of put together a plan. And then I probably won't meet with you guys next month, but, maybe the month after, just kind of bring it back for an update.
Be good. Awesome. Good plan. Thank you.
Yep. And if this is not the parcel that you think is feasible, let me know. We have talked to Billy's in the past and they, have not wanted to sell.
okay.
But I can reach back out to them and see if they're interested. And Rocky does own another parcel.
I didn't say Rocky owns more than just.
Yeah, he owns that, plus another, but I figured a 20-acre development is easier to fill in than this larger parcel, which is double that size.
So
Which is
this
just right here.
currently isn't annexed correctly?
No, it is.
It
Yeah.
is,
Plan
It's not correct. Rocky owns that.
Well, this one, this sliver that I'm talking about looks like it's not, so according to this map, but this might be older.
Is this the one you're talking about or that one? That triangle right there.
He bought all of,
Yeah, then Rocky owns this one.
he bought all of Western News property.
Hoyers.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was to
Yeah.
annex it, but.
Thank you. I'm trying to remember the
That
name.
should-
Sally.
Sally. Annexation should
Versus
be,
price.
if we had to, is not.
Well, if you have a voluntary annexation, they go pretty quick.
Okay.
And you don't provide water and sewer without being in the city.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too.
Topic B, discussion on dismissal of Heather Hanshu as deputy clerk.
It just has to be in the meeting, so that way I can get her up the, bank accounts.
We would, you guys would have to probably make a motion to remove her from the bank accounts and then vote sign.
I make a motion to remove her from the bank account.
I don't think that I can.
I'll second that. Discussion on how to let the community know when water main breaks, closing of roads or roads. Yeah, that's a great,
I have the town Facebook and anybody is welcome to take that over.
The only reason I'm saying this, the last time I got 15 phone calls for the last one that we had, not the one we had today. So Kevin called me, or texted me earlier today, and I had Dave put it on the fire department's side and online. So I didn't know for sure how he wanted me to.
yeah, I don't know that there's gonna be a great way to communicate that. Like, it's just one of those things, and I get it. You know, people are like, oh, all of a sudden they're up in arms
I
because they
had
got.
one phone call today
Okay.
by putting it out, so that's why I was
I mean,
just asking.
You know, when it happens in the middle of the night and you wake up and you don't have any water, it's a little different than when you see it in the middle of the day, you know, like that one. I mean, you weren't gonna miss that, right? You heard the equipment working.
Well, that one a week ago Sunday you could see, because it was running right across State Road 4. We came, but that was almost midnight too.
Yeah.
Well, and
Oh.
it interrupted the school, so that's why I'm kinda trying
Yeah.
to.
Well, I would hope that the utility department has a plan of action, especially if you're interrupting school, to notify somebody. Do they
Yeah.
not?
No,
I bowl with the guy that's the maintenance for the school. And
Doug,
he's, huh?
Doug,
Kyle.
Kyle,
He's from there. He still had to go out and help, but he said Jimmy admitted, like, oops, there's.
well, Kevin didn't know,
Yeah,
but
rough
I,
week.
they called here and I explained everything and.
Yeah, I think that's the best way. I don't think that necessarily. I mean, we can definitely do Facebook if, I mean, if you want to keep on it and you want to, I'm willing. If you want to make me an administrator to where I can have access to it, I don't mind. And then you guys can just, or they can call one of us and we can get it on the Facebook page. I think we should have that somewhat limited, but as to what goes on there. But no. Bob, you want to take over the town Facebook page?
I do know that.
I work 12 hour days,
student
dude.
counties
I'm laid off right now. I got all the time in the world, but not normally.
I know Steuben County's looking at an app for the Steuben County itself to be able to pass information out there in emergencies, and kind of like a reverse 911. I mean, I can look into it and see what they offer for like a small community.
I suppose you could utilize your utility records and maybe do some sort of a mass blast if you had that software and ability to do some sort of a mass blast. But then again, does everybody in the town want to get a text message at 3 o'clock in the morning because there's a water line shut off in one block? You know, it's gonna be hard to pinpoint and
We get pretty lucky here because Roger was so adamant the whole time I was on and before that. He's got it so he can pretty much block off a block. We're not shutting one whole end of the town off. The guys have done a really good job with that.
Well, I mean, like shutting school and where that break was there on State 4, there's nothing you can do, right? You only got one line going out that way.
Which they had it cracked open enough on the one line from Hudson, just so they had a little bit of water going out there, but when they absolutely had to shut it off, that's when they still had an hour of school.
And I can see in this development too, that, you know, at some point you could run water up from State Road 4 and loop that if that went on, and then you would have water going in a couple different directions for that type of thing, but
I think this is a great start because it's kind of smack dab in the middle of everything.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that when this starts, this would be a lot easier to develop.
yeah, I agree. So I don't know. I mean, if there's a mass blast
I can get
text
some
option,
information.
I mean, maybe we can look into it. But again, I mean, do you really want it to notify everybody when it only affects one neighborhood?
Like I said, just ask them a question.
Of course, the school could have eliminated a big problem if they had just done what we wanted to 30 years ago and put it over there.
Well, it'll all be solved when the casino comes in.
Yeah, correct. Open to the public.
I got nothing. I said, we had an economic development. Isaac's working on some stuff, and I don't know, Don, what hoops do we have to jump through to put like a sales tax, 0.5% on stuff?
I don't know. I didn't know the local government.
That could be maybe that's an Oklahoma thing too. The guy he wrote that book for the whole.
I do have one more quick question. Would you guys be interested in attaining the thought of the fire department becoming a territory again?
I don't know enough about that question, so.
For me, yes, as long as hesitantly saying yes, but we'd have to really look at what it does. But yeah, I think that they're still the future. They don't cut them all out. But
there's been a lot of questions due to the fact of the House bills and the Senate bills going through about the redistricting townships and all that.
Right, and what I'd hate to do is
work. I don't know.
I'd hate to spend all the effort and money and whatever it takes to do it, and then just have the state come and take it away from us if that's still where they're leaning. But Angola's doing it, so there must still be some.
Can you briefly explain what that is?
Well,
so basically what it is it'd be basically creating a new tax base for the fire service. And, if we included, because I know Salem Township is the one that's actually kind of talking about it. Charlie and us, we've tried it back when Michael was chief. So it basically creates a new tax revenue for us and allows us to be funded by ourselves in a sense.
It's a great tool to make sure that they have adequate future funding for and staffing as well. Like it give you some funding for that's what killed ours is we were trying to get too big with the staffing.
They wanted all our stuff, basically, Micah. They basically wanted to take you guys over, didn't they?
No. No, it was a mutual effort, but I'm not gonna point any fingers, but there were a couple of people who felt like if we didn't staff the department at the creation of the territory, you would never be able to get it. So there was too much on top expenses with trying to staff too big of an department for what the call volume really was, and rightfully so. It was beat down. So
township trustees said no. That's what it wound up to. They just
yes,
no.
because it was too expensive. So So, but basically what that boils down to is the townships are gonna pay a higher portion of fire protection than what they currently do.
Correct.
And the town is gonna be able to utilize that, well, the town would, the fair territory, they would be able to utilize that money to be much more self-reliant. I think it's good for the town. For Ashley, I think it would be a good thing if you could do it, because it would cut your expenses in the town. And,
Butler has Wilmington Township.
yeah, Butler's got SDI, so they're gonna,
Yeah.
they're never gonna run
And
out
where
of
you
money.
work too, there's a lot of money.
Yeah, there's a lot of, well, and I say SDI, I mean, all of the, you know, that whole complex out there, right? But, so, yeah, they'll never be lacking for.
I know Corona, they approached me a couple years ago and we kind of talked about it, but nothing's really came up yet.
Yeah, I would be interested, myself, I would be interested in at least, the
But
conversation.
You really can't eliminate, I mean, Butler's kind of ran into a situation when he built a new beautiful fire station right out there. But their call time went up because you gotta get the guys to the trucks unless it's a full-time department.
They do
and
that.
you can't really.
They have full-time people now.
Yeah, they do.
More Monday through Friday, but yeah.
But
8 to 4.
what Ashley's not gonna be able to do, at least not in the initial inception, is build a station or staff, have a large staffing. I mean, it's just not gonna happen, but all you're gonna do is you're gonna kind of create a unified tax rate for fire protection.
And you really don't, like I said, we went with Corona. You don't want to eliminate Corona, but they're sitting there right on 6. I'm sure nobody wants us eliminated because we're sitting right out here.
The prior plan was fabulous had we been able to get the staffing worked out.
Corona said they were only on board if they got to name the chief. That was their actual comment to me. So I'm saying there's something about the tail wagging the dog.
Yeah, and I get it. I was okay with it because I mean I was the chief at the time and I wasn't going to take no full-time spots. So it just wasn't, the pay wasn't there for what I was making. So it is what it is. So yes, long answer. The only thing, just real fast, I'll add is the tank. Item signed off on the closure, item signed off on
So they're removing tanks and then taking the canopy and stuff
canopy
out?
will come down probably first, the pumps and stuff,
Oh, okay.
because the tanks are underneath the canopy. The one tank is underneath the pump island right there, I believe. I think you'll see it pretty fast, so.
Well, even with their equipment failure and stuff like that, like I thought that they done good. Like,
So this actually worked our advantage, their equipment failure worked our advantage because what happened is they found that lift, which we kind of thought was there. There's also a separator, an oil water separator that was beside that. That's the other spot you see marked out in there. So they took that floor out. Well, then the inspectors started worrying about the old tank that was left caving into the foundation when they started removing the foundation. So they decided to stop that process. If we're lucky, a lot of the process that we were going to pay for may be covered now.
Is that the tank, Micah, that was for the furnace for inside? Because there was an old furnace inside.
We don't know.
That thing leaked.
The riser was right there underneath that canopy, and we don't really know. Was it the original fuel tank and they just didn't take it?
I thought they got
because
all of those out.
I don't. There was 5. There's 5 underground tanks.
There was 5 tanks.
There's 5 tanks, and they only put 3 in that we know of in '88. So I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen.
I knew that lift was going to be a booger,
but
that's why he covered it up.
But Matt will be back if needed with whatever to finish his part of the process. But I'm hoping that they're going to be in there anyways. I'm hoping those walls just kind of fall in and they just take it out and it's done. And Matt said he would credit us or work with us for development for the other funds, however we want to proceed. But we'll talk about that next week. The building's gone. It's fabulous.
It looks awesome.
It was a cold day standing out there
98%
watching.
of everybody was proud of what this council had done.
Yeah.
That little 2%, I could just flick it between the eyes. Okay.
There were a few people that, it was hard to see go, but it needed to go. It had to go.
There was nothing you were going to do to it. You couldn't put a gas station in. There was too little. I mean,
perfect. So, as of right now, I haven't heard any different, but as of right now, Monday is the day,
Did you see that thing was built in what, 37?
something like that, yeah. So, alright,
I don't
I
have
make a motion during the town council meeting.
a second.